What's going on, guys? Chris the Greek Weeb here again with another Eden Zero chapter review. The Eden Zero videos have honestly been getting some pretty good views and all, and I am honestly really happy with this because I've been enjoying Eden Zero since I started reading it like right before the pandemic started, and I've been getting up to date. And now that I'm doing these weekly reviews, I'm enjoying it more and more, and I can see the very strong potential that the series has to be even greater than its predecessor, Fairy Tail. I still love Fairy Tail. At this point, I still like Fairy Tail a bit more than Eden Zero, but with how things are progressing, I honestly see the potential in how it could eventually be better than Fairy Tail. But with all that out of the way, let's get a brief explanation of what happened in the previous chapter. In the previous chapter, we basically got the continuation of the training for Shiki and the group, whether it be everyone except for Rebecca learning how to use her ether gear in restraints and to get out of restraints using their ether gear, and Zenolith giving a type of one-on-one lesson for Shiki and telling him how he should in fact learn how to keep his mind and body balanced so he won't let his heart and mind fall to darkness, similar to Ziggy. And Rebecca had her Eden Zero bath training with Witch and Sister so she can try and power up her ether gear to get better control and eventually get out of restraints, which I would honestly, that was just a funny scene in general, and I just want to see the Four Shining Stars fight for real again. We also got to see Jamea basically do a quick rundown of everything that was going on in classic arc breakdowns like anyone would have done in like a pretty quick way, and we go basically do like a quick 7-day time skip past the training where Zenolith is taking care of the little girl that the Eden Zero crew was taking care of, saying that despite them training for 7 days, they still aren't masters yet, and that they should come by anytime they want if they want to train more. We also get the possibilities of Ziggy and the memories of the Four Shining Stars being somewhat tampered with, because not only did they have their memories erased from their time searching for Mother, but this also happened to Ziggy, and the Four Shining Stars know nothing of this, and a bunch of people that saw Ziggy on his quest for Mother haven't seen the Four Shining Stars, stating that Ziggy was alone. So this raises a bunch of theories and possibilities that maybe the Four Shining Stars were created right after the quest for Mother, and they just don't have any memory of it because they never took the trip. Ziggy also talks to his four Dark Stars about Shiki, about his memory loss, and how now he has all his memories back, and now he has to kill Shiki. He can't be allowed to live because he is a danger to the entire universe, as we get Ziggy transform into his new true Demon King attire, which I love even more than his previous design because now it looks like a true final boss. But now we skip over to the next chapter, the current chapter, chapter 134, titled Judgment Day. Anybody else getting Terminator 3 vibes? No, just me? Okay, well, let's just get on with it. So we get the return of the Ao Neko channel. We get Rebecca's BQber channel back after God knows how many chapters. It is nice to actually see this because we see her talk about this a lot in the series, and it has been less prominent since the Drake and Joe arc. It's just nice seeing Rebecca do this from time to time because, remember, one of her main things of going on this journey with all her friends is to make amazing videos for people to enjoy. So we start this chapter off with her giving her usual intro, and that they are now on the mud planet called Mudroll. An interesting name for a planet, but so apparently this planet just rains mud. And what it turns out is that this is actually a pre-recorded video done by Rebecca when she was on that planet with Shiki and the others looking for one of the Mother Ether relics. So I like how she's basically getting commentary on her editing style and using sound effects and stuff like that from her BQber friend Couchpo. And this is honestly extremely relatable to any YouTuber because despite you putting your best into it, there's always going to be something better you can do or something very obvious that you could like change and alter to make your videos even more presentable. I think anybody who edits videos can relate to things like this, especially smaller YouTubers who are just starting out and wanting to make the best videos possible but just can't find that right topic or chain of videos or editing the right way to make it presentable for people to continue to watch. But anyway, we get to a somewhat flashback in an extent to Shiki and the crew making it to Mudroll to find this relic. And what's interesting is that this relic is a freaking building. Pino confirms that this is in fact a relic, but it's just a building. This could also confirm Hermit and Sister's theory of people actually living on Mother like if she was a planet. And this would make sense if the building is that size. So everyone's wondering why this is a relic and stuff like that. But as Shiki's like, we can't carry this thing back to the ship. But Pino reminds them, thank you Pino, that they don't have to carry the relic back to the ship. They just have to absorb enough of the Mother Ether so that they can continue to search for more across the cosmos. Happy asks if they have to absorb all of it, because then it would just take a long time. But Pino just says they only need a little bit. They don't need a crap ton. As mud continues to rain, and we get a nice and funny montage of this planet just giving the crew hell and a hard time. Ground is sinking. Everyone's sinking into mud. The mud is shooting up mud geysers. There is a mud river flowing and hitting them all. As we flash back to Resident Day real quick, as Couchful just says, all that stuff that you just mentioned, that could have been the video. People would have loved to see those hilarious antics that you have all done and went through. As we then cut back to Eden Zero and the crew, as everyone is talking about what to do next. They just collected the ether of Mother, and it's coming along pretty damn nicely. They got, I'd say at this point, possibly 4 to 5 relics that they found at this point. So now they have to head over to the next planet. Hermit says they aren't really picking up any Mother Ether readings right now, but they'll just have to sail around the out cosmos for a while. And we get some nice little banter between Homura and Wise, which brings up a fact that they should in fact leave the out cosmos for now, stating that it's incredibly dangerous. They have to deal with Ziggy. They have to deal with Ziggy and his 4 dark stars and that weird virus that he's been using. Nero, one of the Irrational States Galactica, who basically rules this entire sector of the cosmos. They also have the Interstellar Union Army that they have to deal with. There are too many powerful forces right here in these cosmos, in that she has a very bad feeling about everything that's going on. Sister being like, bad feeling, that's just very unscientific for an android, as Hermit basically agrees, saying she has a point, as they continue to ask Shiki what they should in fact do. Now, in my honest opinion, I'm glad Witch was the one to bring this up, because she is more the tactician type of the crew. She might be the shield of Eden Zero, but she does come up with a lot of great plans, and a lot of the problem-solving aspects are done thanks to her. I'm glad that she basically brought this up, because this is something that I brought up in previous reviews. We have literally 3 strong forces in the cosmos. I'm not counting Elsie, because Elsie is their ally, but they have 3 powerful forces basically out to get them, that they made enemies of. First it was Ziggy, then they accidentally got on Nero's bad side to an extent, since they tried stopping them from eradicating all the bots on Foresta, and now they have the Interstellar Union Army, which basically are going to turn them into basically criminals, now, since they are supposedly, since they're technically allied with Elsie, thanks to Justice. So Shiki is wondering with everything, as we flash back to, as she is basically complimenting Couchpo's knowledge of editing videos, and Happy being like, it's glad that they have her close by to give her advice on making the videos. Happy mentions that Rebecca wrote something on her B cube, which is Eden Zero, and she just says that sometime after their time at Red Cave, she just felt like she should write it down. Eden Zero is like a family to her now, and she just wanted to carve its name on something that she cares about. We then get a breaking news update through her B cube, and the rest of the Eden Zero crew is watching this exact same thing. As this news is that just days after the uprising on Foresta, similar revolts broken out on Sultan and 5 other planets in the system, saying that the temple has sent oceans to each of the planets, and all the violence has been suppressed, and the order is currently being restored. In response to these events, the temple has declared all bots to be dangerous. Poseidon Shura, the son of Nero Poseidon, the ruler of this sector, is giving a press conference. As everyone realizes that, that it is in fact Shura, someone that was mentioned to them previously. He says, he's starting to be like, he's giving a bit of a condescending speech, being like, when did we start to fear machines? We once had the option to live together in peace, but now a virus affects the robots and has now spread throughout the cosmos, stating that we are the human race and will we live in fear of the machines? Never. Therefore, we have come to the difficult decision to protect the people of Aoi, the children of Nero, stating that they will eradicate and eliminate all of the androids from these cosmos, every last one of them, and that Judgment Day starts now. The age of cowering in fear of these robots has come to an end, to the shock of all the members of the Eden Zero crew. Rebecca makes it onto the bridge, asking if everyone heard this, and she says they're going to massacre every robot in the cosmos. Zenolith and Nadia are still live there, so this is going to be bad for Zenolith as well. Despite the fact him being incredibly powerful, he doesn't stand up to the Blacks. Since he has his upcoming maintenance, stuff is going to happen. Wise wonders if they really can do that. I mean, that there are several forces out to pretty much get them. Homura's wondering, they did make short work of the revolts, as Hermit then says something pretty disturbing, saying that the thing about stopping the revolts is most likely fake. She said She said that she checked and there are no signals that there was even any sort of large-scale attacks on servers or any revolts anywhere other than Foresta. As she begins to shake and starts to cry, she says that it means that there's no proof of any robotic uprisings on any of the other planets. Ziggy was not involved at all, meaning that Shura eradicated all of the... As she says that Shura just straight up wiped out all of the robots on those planets, and they had done nothing wrong. They killed innocent androids. To Shiki's anger and Hermit's sadness and anger, as we cut back to the Eden's One, as Ziggy catches that transmission, basically stating that it's kind of Nero's saying that it's kind of Shura to basically to do exactly what he expected. He knew that Shura would do something like this, the robotic massacre, saying that if he wants to destroy all the robots at once, he has only one option. Ziggy states that they have to go that the all-link system, the last resort that allowed only the rulers that is only allowed to the rulers of the system. Apparently, the all-link system is the one way for him to shut down and basically destroy every robot in that sector, which is more or less connected to it. It's exactly what Ziggy has been waiting for, as we cut to Nero Planet 66, with Shura waiting in his chair, being like, I know what you're thinking, I know what you're after, Ziggy. Is this what you wanted? All-link system. The system that commands all of the bots in the Aoi Cosmos. Will you take the bait? Of course, if you do, you'll be digging your own grave, as the chapter ends. And what a pretty great chapter. We start off with some pretty lighthearted comments, which basically giving them the warning that they should really just leave the Aoi Cosmos for now until things die down, because right now they don't stand a chance against Ziggy, the army, or Nero's forces in that manner. So they are in some pretty tough shit right now. They're caught between a rock and a hard place because they might not be strong enough to deal with all these forces. We then get the news that Shura basically eradicated 5 planets of androids for no good reason, just for a nice big statement, saying that the robots are no longer allowed on these planets due to Ziggy's basic revolts on that planet of Foresta with the virus, thus giving due cause for people to fear robots in the Aoi Cosmos. So, the war between humans and machines could start without Ziggy's actual involvement in it. We also get the reveal that now, with all this happening, Ziggy basically planned for this to happen. He only planned to use, from what we can tell, Ziggy only wanted to attack Foresta to get this reaction out of Shura, so he can get access to this thing called the All-Link system, which controls basically all the bots in the Aoi Cosmos. And if that's true, Ziggy might actually be able to put his virus into that system and infect every machine in that whole sector of the universe, thus basically creating his own robotic army, which could help jumpstart his whole robotic revolution. Again, anyone notice the references to Terminator with the title of this chapter and the fact that they are basically going to go to war with machines? And oh man, I can't believe I'm bringing up Terminator in this video now. Oh man. But yeah, this was honestly a pretty good chapter. I like the fact that we basically get everyone wondering what they're going to do next. Stuff to show how far and how unhinged Shura really is, but also how cunning and calculated he is, because he expected Ziggy to take the bait. He knows that this is what Ziggy wants, and now he has the baits and the reasoning to fight and to try and defeat Ziggy on Narrow Planet 66, because he has the one key for Ziggy's plan in the Alley Cosmos to come to fruition. And we can expect all these forces to clash on this one planet. And I honestly think it's a bit too early for Mashima to have this type of storyline where they're like, at this point, what? Let's see, we got Ziggy's forces, Narrow's forces, we got Elsie chasing after Justice's forces, and the other, we basically like 5 different forces colliding, that are mostly going to collide on one planet. What I can imagine happening is the battle between Ziggy and Shura starts, then the Eden Zero crew shows up to try and stop the fighting, or we have a 3-way brawl between 3 different forces, possibly a gravity battle between Ziggy, Shura, and Shiki, which that would probably look pretty cool. And in the last minute, when Justice's crew just comes to intervene with the other members of the Irrational States Interstellar, Elsie will show up, and yeah, this is basically setting up for an all-out brawl, and I don't know how Mashima is going to do this, because I feel like this is too early for a big brawl between like 5 different enemy forces. But at the same time, this could honestly be what we need for the next arc. A full-on arc, just straight-up battles for the destiny of the entirety of the Alley Cosmos. If Ziggy wins, all the machines go for a revolt. If Shura wins, Ziggy gets defeated, but he also wipes out all of the androids in the sector. If Eden Zero somehow manages to win, or along with Elsie's help, or the Galactic Irrational States Interstellar, this could in fact save the galaxy. But again, they're going to be fighting like 4 different enemies at once. So this is honestly going to be a very complex battle if Mashima really gets into the nitty-gritty of things. But I'm honestly looking forward to it. Again, a bit too early for something like this, but it might just be something that this series needed, because we need something very high stakes at this point. So really give us the gravity of the situation of how strong Ziggy really is. But anyway, that was a chapter. Those are my thoughts on the chapter and what could potentially happen next. What did you guys think of this chapter? Leave it down below. How do you think this is all going to play out? And do you think this might be a bit too early for this type of all-out brawl, all-out war between these 5 different factions? Or do you think this is what the series needed to help give it a nice big jolt of strong stakes to really let the situation sink in? Let me know in the comments down below, as well as any kind of theories you think could happen with these fights and what kind of matchups we can get, depending on how things can happen, because we don't know the abilities of the Ocean 6. Only Shura has gravity ether gear, but we don't know to the extent of how strong it is or what kind of moves he knows. But yeah, with all that said and done, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for notifications on future videos. And with all that done, I hope you guys have an awesome day.